Well, Wayne, what do you think of Zumos? I finally brought you here to show you one of my favorite spots in Scranton to come to relax.
It's a
do
great
little
little
writing.
place.
I know, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, nice little slice of Green Ridge over here on, where are we?
We're on Marion,
Marion
Street,
Street,
right across
Marion
from
and
St.
Penn.
Paul's School.
Right.
So,
It's not hard to find.
and
Even I
it's,
found it.
right. And if you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love it. It's a real neighborhood feel, but you also get people from all over the city because they actually roast their own coffee, which is very unusual. I don't know if that's ever been done in Scranton before.
I want to ask you, like,
So-
what exactly is that in your
this
big
big.
bowl?
It's not a bowl of soup, as you refer to it. It is. About a year ago, I started drinking cafe au laits, which is basically just regular coffee with steamed milk. Before that, I used to drink a lot of lattes, which is an espresso.
Well, that's what I'm
roast
drinking,
with,
latte. So now I've become a latte guy.
I know. What happened
you know?
to the tea? I'm proud.
I'm usually a
'cause
tea drinker, but I'm in a coffee shop, so I'm drinking, and this is pretty good.
I'm
I
a
like
coffee
this. This is very
holic, as you know. Coffee for me is a vacation. Like when I come to Zumos and I have, a nice little breakfast and a coffee, it's like a little piece of heaven. So.
Well, this is banana flavored latte, by the way. They have like a zillion flavors here. I thought that was pretty cool.
You're breaking my heart, though. A true coffee lover does not put banana in their latte.
Well, I'm an amateur. I'm learning. That's why I'm here.
That's
It's
okay.
all part of
I
the,
know. Well,
all
I'll
part of
help
the
you along the
process.
way. It's nice. But yeah, it's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
And they
That's
also
neat.
do sometimes music on Tuesday
yeah?
nights in the winter.
Oh, I
and,
know that.
It's just a nice, friendly vibe. The staff's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Mary Telly is the owner, and she's so passionate and knowledgeable about coffee. I come in and I ask her. She's always getting me to try new coffee that I bring home. I have some at home.
I was going to ask you, I really, really want to get Living in the City going again.
I know, that was a great show.
I mean,
really.
my former co-host has gone into politics, and she has a new career as a city councilwoman. And I know you've helped me out a couple times, so I was wondering maybe you could help me out, would you?
Really?
Yeah, maybe like a permanent co-host?
I would be thrilled.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
As Andy Warhol said, everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame.
Well, now you can get maybe 20.
Right. So I'd be happy. So, what do you think our first show should be?
I don't know. I mean, hey, coffee shops are pretty cool.
That's a great idea. Coffee shops are the new thing in Scranton. They're popping up all over. When do you think we should get started?
Well, how about right now?
No time like the present. And you know what? We're lucky enough, Mary Telly, the fabulous owner of Zumos, happens to be sitting here with us. And as I said, she's wonderful to talk to because she's so knowledgeable about coffee.
Yeah.
So
I understand you're the guru of coffee in the city of Scranton, I guess.
Certainly I have a lot of passion about it. I don't know
that's
if
good.
I'm the guru about it.
why don't you talk about that passion, how you came to open this place, your love of coffee?
I started roasting coffee quite a few years ago as a hobby.
Oh, okay.
Of course, my hobby started in the basement, as I think most hobbies do.
Yep.
And as I experienced with different roasts and darkness and depth of roast, my husband said maybe you should go somewhere else because the smoke is filtering through the house. But that's how we started Electric City Roasting. And we moved down to Zumos, and we opened Zumos back in August of '04. So we picked a neighborhood spot because we wanted that type of coziness and listening to what Maureen was saying about her vacation coming into Zumos. We wanted to be able to create that environment. Really didn't want to open a coffee shop. I just wanted to roast the coffee, but I knew the only way I could demonstrate what we could do with coffee was to showcase it.
There you go.
And,
well, it's a great fit. So I mean, it's a nice shop. It really is. And we're sitting here for about a half hour before we started doing this, and people are coming and going, and it seems like you have a great business. A lot of people are doing takeouts and getting their coffee ready for the weekend. And,
Sure.
So you get a lot of people that are just buying bags of coffee, I guess, right?
Yes.
Special blends and.
Yes, we have a large retail business, but we are expanding, and what the biggest growing portion of our business right now is the wholesale coffee business.
Oh, really?
Restaurants and other purveyors of coffee want to carry the Electric City Roasting brand.
Oh, great. Well, that's great.
Yeah, it stands for quality. We're pretty specific when it comes to, we don't compromise on the quality. We only roast what's called specialty grade Arabica coffee.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? What does that mean?
Well, there are many different grades of coffee, and oftentimes you can appreciate whether or not you're drinking really good coffee or not just by the taste you experience from it. Sometimes people will say, oh, I can only have a cup because it's very acidic. And chances are that acidity, or their definition of it, comes from a lesser grade or lesser quality coffee. We import coffees from all over the world. Right now, I think we have in our inventory 15 to 21 different countries that we're importing from right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I've had. Is there one, the Papua New Guinea?
New Guinea Papuas
Papua and Ethiopian.
the Ethiopian coffees are, all the African coffees are quite nice.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Most of the Ethiopian coffees we bring in are either the Harar, which is a type, or Yirgacheffe, which is also a different area or location of Ethiopia.
So when you get these beans, what do you have to do?
Well, the
I mean, how do you
process
make
really
them
is
Yeah.
coffee beans do not come into this country brown. They come into this coffee green. We actually have pictures on our website that goes through the actual process of when a bean is taken off a tree and it looks like a cherry and it's dried, and out of that comes green beans, and they're processed in different ways depending on the country. And again, you're dealing with mostly third world countries, so the processing necessarily is someone's
Isn't the best,
backyard.
yeah.
It's not a processing plant,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a lot of different cultural as well as socioeconomic constraints with coffee, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about that.
Yeah.
But we go in and try to work with different brokers who have different grades and qualities of coffee. So when we actually receive the beans, they come in burlap sacks, which you see hanging around our store. And then we take them and cull them and roast them at certain degrees and certain temperatures and blend them to either have Blue Moose, which is our house blend. It's also probably one of the best-selling blends we have. Velvet, which is another blend, or just an origin like the New Guinea, or like the Harar, or perhaps the Mexican or the Colombian.
So it's kind of not unlike, you know, a winery, really, when you think of it, like mixing different types of grapes,
Absolutely.
you're mixing different types of beans to create a
Absolutely.
unique flavor.
When you cup coffee, which is what would be the same vernacular as wine tasting, it's quite interesting because you use some of the very same definitions, whether it's acidity
Right.
level, or whether or not you're using a darker roast, and if it's a full body, whether there's a front, a middle, and a back to that body. What is the sensation on your palate?
Yeah.
Does it hit your palate in the front or in the middle? How it lingers on your tongue? And we actually cup all of the different coffees in and of themselves when they come in. And then we blend them based on those characteristics to provide the front, the middle, and the back. So there's quite a lot of preparation and a lot of intellect that goes into creating the coffee blends, as well as just like a wine crop. It might be a bumper crop, might be a vintage year,
Yeah.
but the next year might be terrible.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with coffee, it's the same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't always come out 100% exact the same time. And that is a combination of a lot of factors, mostly being environmental factors or the weather and what is going on in the country at the time.
Yeah.
So
Now,
interesting.
I'm a novice to the whole coffee scene, so I was looking at your menu and you have espresso, Americano, cappuccino, latte, breve,
Breve.
and
Macchiato.
Okay, can you help me out with some of these, or what the difference is? What
Sure. Those are, in the coffee industry, those are really what we call milk-based drinks or coffee-based drinks. And they're
Okay.
all based on one component throughout all of them, which is consistent, is espresso.
Okay.
Espresso is a type of roast that we use. It's not necessarily a bean, which most people think. There are espresso beans, but the espresso beans are because of the type of roast. An espresso roast generally is a roast that is a darker roast. It's been roasted at a higher temperature, and it's been roasted for a longer period of time.
Okay.
That is what creates it. Most espresso in the United States is specialty grade Arabica. Espresso in Europe, however, tends to be a little bit more of a different type of coffee bean called a Robusto. Some in the United States still blend espresso with Robusto. I choose not to do that. I use 100% specialty grade Arabica. Arabica and Robusto are the two different
Yeah.
genus classes of coffee.
Wow.
So,
Neat. And a chai is
tea.
tea.
Well, I know.
Okay.
You also have selections for people who I can't even imagine this, but don't like coffee. You also have teas
Sure.
and chai and.
Right, and getting back to the milk-based
Yeah.
drinks for a second, we decided when we opened Zumos that we wanted the authenticity of coffee at the, not necessarily at the cost of doing it a certain way, but we really wanted to have people experience these
Yeah.
drinks in a very authentic environment.
yeah.
And so our mantra's always been everything that comes into Zumos is pretty much made at Zumos. Whether it's the coffee that's roasted. I mean, we don't have a cow out back, but if we
But
could,
everything else, yeah.
that would be
Well,
pretty much the next
that's
best
cool.
thing. We like to use local dairies as best we can because we believe that the milk that we get from them actually create a better drink.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
yeah, that is some of
Yeah.
what we've done. And so your latte is espresso with a good deal of steamed milk and some foam. A cappuccino, on the other hand, predominantly has more foam than steamed milk.
Okay.
A macchiato has very little. As a matter of fact, in Italian, I think it's loosely translated into the mark. And so it's a dollop of foam that is on top of
okay.
it, and that's pretty much what it is. I think if you went to a mega coffee place, and there are a lot of them out there, a macchiato is something that's filled with caramel and all this junk.
No.
Well, that's a lot of stuff you can add to it, like banana.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and while that breaks my heart as a purist, I'm also in business and understand that a lot of people like different flavors. So we have to work around that. And so again, we went back to the drawing board and said, okay, what company could we use that would develop and has developed, has a reputation of having the best banana flavor or the best caramel.
Okay.
And so then we went to that company and said, oh, we'd like to have you now work with us at Zumos
Yeah.
to create that. And I think sticking to our principles of and our core competency of coffee, its basic, how we can enhance it, and taking it from there and moving it into the area of Zumos and moving that whole thing into presenting the best coffee we can. I think what's helped Zumos create itself and the roasting company then go out and say, okay, now we can do the same for your coffee shop or for your restaurant,
Okay.
as well as for the individual who wants to just buy a pound online.
Yeah. See, well,
awesome.
obviously the passion is coming out.
I
mean,
know,
there's
it's
no
great.
doubt about
That's
that,
why
which is
I said
wonderful.
and also your food, I think,
Yeah.
matches that
Yeah.
too. You have fabulous
Yes.
things. I just wanted people to realize
Well,
that.
there's
Yeah.
some items here
Yeah,
that,
the
that,
blueberry
that
scones,
look great.
and
Yeah.
they have the great chicken salad, and the soups are always
Yeah.
marvelous.
Right, and
yeah.
again, our culinary chef here, Maggie Maggie Piazza is our chef, and she believes in the same principles I do, in
Yeah.
that everything is pretty much here. Again, we don't have the chickens out back, but
Right.
if our whole goal is to bring everything fresh,
Yep.
as fresh as we can bring it in.
Yep.
I think really the only thing we don't have that's not merely made here is the soda cooler,
Right.
and however you can get an Italian soda if you wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, and so we try to marry all of those components together with the same mantra, which is fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's the coffee, it's the syrup, it's the milk, it's the food, or it's the barista behind the bar. We always
Yeah.
try to
Oh,
make
yeah.
them all
Yeah.
fresh.
You have a
And
great
so,
staff, yes.
yeah, we do. And
Yeah.
we're certainly blessed with having people who are as passionate about it as I am.
Yeah,
They're
so and
always-
we're lucky. I mean, when you have places like this in a neighborhood, that's a great thing. I mean, years ago, there was a corner store everywhere and a market everywhere, and,
right.
and those things have disappeared.
Well,
but to
this
bring
one-
back this kind of feel in a neighborhood is wonderful. I think it's great.
When you said that, it made me think, because this was a shoe store and candy store.
Absolutely. We're
You-
sitting in what was the shoe repair portion
Okay.
of
And the other
Zumos.
side was the candy
Absolutely.
counter type thing. Okay.
Yeah, and when we talked to the family about purchasing this, and I live a block from here,
Mm-hmm.
so we had an opportunity to invest in the neighborhood, and that was really important to us as well, is to
Right.
have the family, just good karma with
Yeah.
everyone's memories of Zumos as
Mm-hmm.
growing up and
Yeah.
attending St. Paul's,
Yep.
or maybe attending St. Paul's Church,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe attending Zumos instead of St. Paul's Church.
Or saying you're at church, but you're at Zumos.
This is
Yeah.
right, and I think I heard a couple people say at one point it was called St. Vincent's for Vincent
that's
Zumo. But yeah, so the family really understood what we were trying to do, and we had an opportunity to do that. And it's important that the kids can come over here,
Yeah.
and that's a big part of our business.
Yeah.
We have, again, getting back to the drawing board. Our hot chocolates are
Right.
all made.
Yeah.
We just don't add water. Everything's made from milk, and
Yeah.
and the best chocolate we could find. We have penny candy. We have a lot of different candies for the kids, and that to me is just more of what I would want if I was dropping my child off and having an
Right.
opportunity to do
Yeah.
that.
Or,
So.
or the kids in the neighborhood that can walk and
Absolutely.
and enjoy themselves. If this wasn't here, then it'd be something they're missing.
Precisely.
So it'll become part of their childhood. You'll have memories of your child. I do as well, and Maureen does. But this will be one of their memories that they'll grow up and say, "Oh, remember we used to go to Zumos and you know, hang out and have a hot chocolate and talk to our friends. And
I hear stories from folks that just had their, I think, 45th class reunion at
Yeah.
St. Paul's who come and tell me about their memories of Zumos.
right,
That's nice.
exactly.
That's a nice
right, and this is a great reincarnation. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, thank
and,
you.
and very true to the neighborhood and very true to the feeling of community. So I think it's a wonderful thing.
What are your hours, just so?
Oh,
our
well, we
viewers
have
know?
winter hours right now. We're open 7 days a week. So our winter hours are Monday through Saturday. We're open from 6:30 in the morning until 4, except for on Tuesdays. And I think you'd mentioned we have open night mic. We do open mic night, excuse me, and pretty much entertain the local artist scene.
Yeah.
And have them come in and play a few tunes for us. And that's usually every other Tuesday night.
Okay.
And then on Sundays, we close after Mass at 2. So.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, great hours. Very
Yeah.
good.
So the kids are getting out of St. Paul, so before they rush in here and you know, there's
Right.
25 kids standing around us, we better kind of wrap it up and,
Right.
and head to our next destination.
Yes, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're
It was
welcome.
a pleasure.
Thank you,
I
Mary.
learned so much, and
Yep.
I'll be back. And
Oh,
I'm sure Wayne's
I'm
hooked
coming
now
back.
and
I'm
for
hooked,
another
that's right.
banana latte.
I'll try to like be a little more truer to the
You
coffee
know,
scene. You know, I'm
If
working
it's
my way
what
up
you
to it.
like, then it is
I don't know what I
something
want.
you should stick with.
Yeah,
but,
well, I don't know what I
Right.
like.
I'm
That's
just teasing
that's
her.
my problem. So we'll work it out.
That's what makes
Absolutely.
the world great. Everybody
That's right.
has their coffee drink.
Some
so
people are
thanks
cafe
very
boys.
much.
Oh, thank
Mary.
you for giving
See
us
you
the
soon.
opportunity.
Okay, thank you. So
What
where are
do
we
you
going now?
think? Well, there's another little neighborhood in Scranton up there in Petersburg Corners, the hill section.
the hill?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
and
then
you
that's
could
easy
go to
enough.
Mansour's.
Okay.
Have you
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been
that's
there.
Your,
Yeah, that's my home away from home. So we're gonna head up to the hill
let's
then.
head up to the hill.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
Go.
Well, Maureen, here we are in our second leg of our Scranton Coffee House tour.
I know, and it's actually my 10th cup of coffee. Coffee is a real passion of mine, as
Oh, yeah,
you know.
I can tell.
So, yeah. But
Calm
luckily,
down.
they're finding out it's not as bad for you as people think.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, I can justify touring around Scranton at all these beautiful coffee shops and imbibing.
10 comes later. And we're only on our second tour, so
I
I,
know.
can't wait till we get to the third one. So we're at Mansour's Market up
I
here in
know.
beautiful Petersburg Corners of the historic hill section in Scranton. And I hope our viewers can see it's a beautiful building, beautiful
I
space.
love it here. I come up here a lot with my notebook. It's so spacious,
Yep.
and you know they have the nice market over there if you get hungry. Or
Well, yeah, I'm like the regular here. I mean, it's gotten so bad that when I walk in the door, the coffee's already coming to me. And when they know what I want, they know what I get.
Good,
So,
good.
you know.
Well, and they have
it's like-
wireless, so you
yeah,
can bring your laptop.
That's right. It's,
and-
it's my home away from home, my office away from my office, and I use it all the time, and it's been great. And I think most of the coffee shops in town are going wireless, so it's a big thing. Of course,
Scranton's becoming 21st century hip.
yeah, and this is actually the bar of the 21st century. I think this is what it's come to.
It's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice place to meet people, have conversations, just like they used to do in the 1600s in the coffee shop. We're coming full circle.
Hey, coffee in the 1600s?
Yeah, in England,
You would
that was
know
the
that.
thing to do, coffee and chocolate houses.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm thrilled today because we get to speak to Mr. Jay Sequin, who's the store manager, who's going to
great.
give us some more insights into this great place.
Jay.
I think he's Jay, if you want to come join us.
Very nice to join you. Hi, Wayne.
All right, Jay.
How you doing,
Hi,
Maureen?
great
Good
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
So Jay's going to help us. Well, first of all, Jay, how long has Mansour's been open?
Actually, January 8th, 2006 was our 1-year anniversary of being open for business officially.
Okay. So,
And we've been here doing well for a year, ever expanding, increasing items. And
as an original customer, I've seen some evolutions take place.
Yes, yeah.
Not only is it a coffee shop now, but clearly we know it's a market.
Right.
How's the market
right.
doing, by the way?
The market's doing well. We're trying to. We take a lot of suggestions from customers, what they're looking for. We try to get those items in for them at a decent price, and we expanded to a fresh area. We do now have a produce case. We have fresh produce, and we make salads, and we have that stuff over there. And we are doing a small cafe-style lunch program
Oh, your
now.
lunch is, that roasted pork sandwich with
Isn't
the
that
onion.
great?
I
Yeah.
mean, I never want to leave lunch and go back to work. Like I eat very slowly here.
It is. It's a great
soups.
sandwich, yeah. And we do that from 11 to 2, Monday through Friday. We do a small little lunch with soup and a sandwich and fresh, great salads, and we always have the coffee.
Yeah. And the rumor is too, you better get here on time because if you don't, they're going to
Yes.
sell out for lunch.
Yes,
because-
that's the kind of
Yeah.
the definition of a cafe menu. It's
Yeah.
different every day, and we make enough for that day. And
Yeah.
usually we don't have any left or not enough for the entire 4-hour, 3-hour lunch period. So we are doing well with that, and a lot of things are really creative. They're all homemade, fresh ingredients, and
I know the soups are great. The panini
yes.
is great.
Everything I said, I
great,
never
yeah.
want to leave.
we're doing well with that.
What kind of people come here? Who do you see coming in?
You know
like,
what?
how would you describe
I'm
a
really
day here?
surprised. It's a very diverse mix of people that come up here. I really don't know how to say it other than I'm surprised that it is so diverse. We have everybody comes in here, and we've had people stop in actually like yesterday. Oh, I drive by all the time, and I wasn't sure what was here,
Yeah.
and we thought we'd stop in and check it out. Or a lot of people come in and say, oh, I'm just touring. I just want to see
Yeah.
the building, and
Yeah.
because it was such a great refurbish of
yeah.
the building
Yeah.
here that Mr. Mansour did, and spared no expense.
Oh, and that's what people need to realize too.
Yeah.
That when you come here for coffee, you're also getting a look at what historic preservation
Exactly.
is all about.
And people think they're stepping back in time. We have the penny
Yeah.
candy, we have
Yeah.
the antique cash registers, stuff like that. And a lot of older residents that have lived in the area
Yeah.
for a long time come in here and say, we're just so thrilled to
Yeah.
see something great in this location.
Do you know what the building was originally?
Oh, it's been a multitude of different businesses in here. It was actually erected by the Schultz brothers, and it was a general
Yeah, I think
store.
that's still up front, right? The Schultz
Yeah,
Brothers,
yeah,
is
1914
engraved,
the building
yeah.
was actually built, and they had like a dry goods and I think clothing upstairs, and then after they left, it's been all kinds of things through here.
Yeah, I know it had a short life as a state store for a
Yeah,
while,
the
right?
State Store I think was
Which
here
is
for
kind of
about 10
ironic,
years.
with the bar and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
That's what I love about it, though. You can tell it was really important for it to have that old-fashioned
Yeah.
feel, but yet it is a very contemporary place. You know,
The ceiling, the tin ceiling, is the only
ceiling.
original aspect of the
Yeah.
of the space right now.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of reflects that. That's what
Yeah.
we went by.
And I'm sure when the state owned it, it was probably covered up with a drop
It was,
ceiling at one
yeah,
time,
it
because
actually
that's just the
was.
way they did it.
Right,
But
right.
Paul Mansour, who was probably the premier restoration developer in the area, really did an amazing job on this. Him and John Darcy, his project manager, who runs a lot of his projects, fantastic. I mean, again, this is an example of what you can do with an historical building. And the Petersburg Corners is really becoming a very, very viable neighborhood commercial district. And I hope people get a chance to come up here and see what's going on.
do you have any? You have the fabulous lunch, but do most people order coffee? What's?
People get coffee. We offer some teas, herbal
Teas.
teas, regular teas. We also have ice cream. We sell Montdale Farm
yeah.
Dairy ice cream, which is huge in the summertime.
Yeah.
We have soft serve ice cream. We have small light fare items for breakfast, bagels and danishes and hard rolls.
You know what
and
else you have?
that.
Now I know it's January, so we're thinking of hot chocolate,
Yes.
and
We have the hot
but
chocolate.
in the summer you have that fabulous lemonade. That
Yes,
sometimes I have them mixed
that's
with the
homemade
iced tea.
lemonade, yes,
Yep.
and the iced tea is fresh brewed here also. It's
Yeah, had
nothing,
it.
no sugar added or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that goes really great in the summertime, and we also add the fresh mint to the drinks, so that goes well too.
And what are your hours?
Our winter hours right now, we're open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 a.m. until 6 p.m., and then Sunday 6:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. And those are in effect probably until April 1st. We'll be keeping
okay.
those hours.
Again, it's an evolving situation, and they're doing a great job. One thing they're doing, what Jay alluded to, is they're listening to their customers, and they're making changes as they go along. And every day, it's something new at Mansour's. So
Yeah, that's what our goal is
Yeah.
expand as we go and not take too much at first and do too much. It's just a recipe for disaster, I think, if a lot
Yeah.
of places try to
and
do
by
too
listening
much.
to people, you're
Yeah,
really part of the
exactly.
community.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
That's the whole idea.
So all I can say is, Jay, thank you very
Thank you
much
so much.
for
Yeah.
letting
Thanks
us
for
know.
spending some time with
Yeah,
me.
thank
and
you.
welcome
Pleasure.
to Mansour's
Yeah.
Market.
Thank you.
Well, talking to Jay just reinforces why I choose to live in Scranton, because we have passionate, committed people who are really trying to create a real culture here.
Yeah.
And it's just so wonderful that we have places like this with, now they're getting into, having even a market so people in the neighborhood could shop, it's,
Well, plus, you are in your 10th cup of coffee, and you do enjoy coffee, so it might have something to do with the fact that...
yeah, I'm a little biased. If it was, totally the herbal tea, I don't know. But yeah, it's a great place.
Yes,
So
it
It was
is.
really interesting
Yes, it is.
talking to him.
Yeah, and now we get a chance to talk to one of the regulars at Mansour's,
Wow.
a customer that's here frequently because she's a Hill Section resident. That would be, good old, what's her name over here? City Councilwoman Sherry Finucci,
Hi.
and my former co-host of Living in the City.
Yes, back to my roots.
Here she is back. She's back again, folks.
Absolutely.
On my coattails again.
Yeah, I'm always trying. You're obviously the brains behind the production, so let's get going.
Yeah. Well, I'm stuck now. Now you have me stammering. I have no clue.
That was the whole idea,
No, we brought
actually.
Maureen in now for the brains.
Yes.
Now we can coast again.
Yes.
So anyway, besides the coffee shop, how's it going?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. The coffee shop is not only just a symbol of what's going on in Scranton, but all these great buildings are being used in ways that and Wayne and I, and I'm sure you feel the same way, for years have wanted to see these old buildings being used in such productive ways that bring people back.
Yep.
And I think this is the perfect example. Here we are in a neighborhood, which is one of our passions.
Yeah, exactly.
And not only is the neighborhood thriving now because of more action and more people having options to do what they want to do, not only just have a coffee, but it's a camaraderie thing.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, how many times do I run in here
Yep.
and who's here? You sit down, you have a nice coffee, maybe your lunch or whatever, but it's not even a planned action. It's something that just takes place during your day. You're running around and being a mom, the coffee doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Keeps you going. Keeps you
A
going.
little espresso can go a long way. This is what we're about. This is exactly what we're trying to do everywhere in the city, in
Yeah.
every neighborhood.
It's kind of ironic because something as simple as a coffee shop is kind of gives us other people an indication of
Yeah.
what kind of city we are,
Yeah.
what kind of city we want to be.
Yeah.
For the lack of a better word, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Right, it is. And you know who benefits a lot from this is probably the teenagers.
Yeah.
We get in
Yeah.
our cars, we can
Yeah.
drive everywhere. But the neighborhood kids they didn't have that
Yeah.
place to go anymore.
Yeah.
They did not have the place to go and grab a candy or grab what they want. And this
Yeah.
is where they're benefiting from this.
I
The
know, I
ice
even
cream,
Yeah.
everything.
I saw one day I was in here, I think it was younger, middle school or elementary from Prescott was having a Coke in a bottle.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
so cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's giving them something that they did not have, a whole atmosphere that they did not
I know
have.
Mari and I talk about this a lot. I know we did, Sherry, is that Scranton is a walkable community.
Yeah.
And the Hill has become, because of Petersburg Corners,
Yeah.
a walkable neighborhood again. So people can leave their homes and have a destination to go to, walk up to the corners, have a coffee, grab something at the market. There's stores going to be soon opening on the other side of the street that Paul Mansour is developing as well. It's a great thing, and this is what every neighborhood should aspire to, having something like this.
And I think the importance is overlooked at how important it is to actually know your neighbors. We sort
Yeah.
of gotten to
Yeah.
a time where we don't really know our neighbors because we're not in the atmosphere. When you come to these places, you meet your neighbors.
Exactly.
And it actually makes you feel more part of the community and in a special way. And I think that's what it's about. It's
Oh,
not
absolutely.
just the
Yeah.
great coffee. That's
Well,
just a bonus.
That's right. Yeah, you're right about that. And I said before, the coffee houses have become the 21st century tavern in a
Right.
way because it's a way to meet and greet people, without getting into the whole bar scene, and especially during the daytime. Business people are here, construction workers are here, city councilwomen are here.
And it's family friendly,
Playwrights
which
are here,
is a wonderful thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, we're all. I mean, where else could you go?
That's
That's
right.
what I love about
Yeah.
city living. I love
Yeah.
that mix of people. That's
Right.
what makes life fun and exciting, and to have a space to come to, like you were saying.
Right.
Yeah.
is-
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot
what
of
we're
fun.
about.
So what are you going to drink when you
what's
leave
your
our
drink of
little
choice?
I think I'm
table
going to
here?
go for a latte today.
A latte?
Sometimes it's a chai tea, depending on my mood.
Yeah,
They seem to talk me into whatever the special of the month is every once
I
in
have
a
one of those
while.
chai teas. I don't normally drink caffeine. I have one of those chai teas and it had the foam and stuff on it,
Unbelievable.
But I was wired for about 3 days.
Yeah, and there's
because,
nothing wrong with that either. And him wired's fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here, drink more.
Oh, yeah. As we used to say, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. He perks up a little. It's very
Yeah,
fun.
that's
And
right.
now that he's not wearing the tie, he is casual. He's casual.
Well,
We like
this
it.
was a big breakout for me.
Yeah, it is.
People that watched Living in the City before knew I always had a tie in, but
Right.
it is January, so I thought, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, he's come a long way.
You know?
He's definitely come a long way. And I wish you guys a lot of luck on the show.
Uh-oh. I'm running dangerously low on this. I think
Oh.
I'm going to need to get another cup of coffee somewhere.
So we're gonna have to get cup number 11
Right.
somewhere else, I guess.
Yes, I think we're going to head to the heart of downtown Scranton to Northern Light Espresso Bar.
Okay, well, then I guess we'll meet everybody down at Courthouse Square.
How about a mocha latte, a medium? Are these for here too? For here. Oh, that was for you. You want a vanilla latte? Can you make that a vanilla latte instead? Juices and tea. Nicely done. I'm just gonna put them in the cup.
Actually,
Do we have fresh brewed iced tea? Oh, I'll
do
have
one
iced
better
tea.
than
A medium iced
actually.
tea. Would you like lemon?
Well, here we are, Maureen, in the heart of downtown Scranton.
The Northern Light Espresso Bar, one of my favorite places, and I'm on my 11th cup of coffee, which means it's the 11th hour. It is our last stop
Good point.
on the
Thank
on
God.
the tour. Who knows what might
Believe me,
happen?
I'm dealing more in between camera shots here. 11 cups of coffee is a lot of coffee.
But this is a great place to, I think, end on because this has been here almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in November. It was one of the first
as Northern
pioneers.
Lights, yeah.
As Northern Light. It's become a real hub for downtown life in Scranton. And one of my favorite things is that we're right across the beautiful courthouse, so it feels very European when you sit here and you're having your coffee or your espresso and
it's
you look out the window.
It's a great scene,
and-
especially even now. I mean, I'm not a big fan of winter, but when you see it across the street and the snow is on the
Right.
lawn, and you have a great view of the courthouse that you don't see normally in the summertime because the trees are, the leaves are gone, and it really looks great.
And it's also very cozy in here, though, for the winter.
it's
it's a
warm
good
and
place
cozy,
to come
absolutely.
and grab a
Yeah,
magazine or
yeah.
meet your friends.
It's kind of our Central Park theme, really.
Yeah.
Right here, it's a lot of fun.
And they have great stuff, too. Great coffee.
Yep,
In
yep.
fact, I'm thrilled because we have one of my favorite baristas in town, and I'm going to call him that because coffee is an art, and they should have a title to go with it. We have Dan Brennan with us today, who's worked here for 2.5 years.
Hey, Dan.
So we're thrilled he's going to talk to us a little bit.
He's a barista.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Sure. Well, it's a little bit more official than I like to get, but yes.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, we are the Seattle of the Northeast after all, so I think we could probably accept that role, right? Or we're trying to be anyway. After
Yeah.
people watch this show, after we visited 3 coffee shops in Scranton, I think they're going to, hopefully they'll start thinking of us that way because we have a lot to offer.
Yes, we do. And coffee is definitely one way to bring a community together, you
Yeah.
know, especially
Yeah, we
just
found
like it
that.
did in Seattle, you're right.
Yep.
Why don't you talk about that a little? What do you see happening here? What?
Well, definitely. I mean, coffee shops, worldwide have, been able to develop communities in ways that, other businesses and other establishments haven't been able to. They're gathering places. People come and study. They chat. They talk politics. Politicians. Everybody from every walk of life, come to coffee shops, and Scranton is starting to develop coffee culture, which is exciting.
And I would imagine, too, being in downtown Scranton, you probably have a great mix of people that come in and out of here every day.
Sure.
Not just, Scrantonians, but people from all over the area that
People
work
from
in town.
people from as far away as Honesdale and things just come down once a week just to sit down and have a cup
See,
of coffee.
they want to be part of our scene.
Yeah, they do.
know?
They want to be part of the scene.
What are some of the things people drink? Do you have any
Oh, man.
specialties or what's?
Well, I mean, everybody loves the lattes and the cappuccinos. They're the traditional espresso drinks that people get. I mean, besides just regular
Right.
brewed coffee. We have, every espresso drink that you could think of, brevets, cappuccinos, like I said, lattes, espresso shots, campanas, you know, cafe au lait, which isn't a espresso drink, but we have that.
Teas, you have a nice tea
Trees.
selection.
I mean, we used to not have a lot of
That's
tea
big,
selections.
big now.
But people are really getting into the tea cake, so we have a big selection of teas now.
Yeah. I noticed too on the board here that you have soup now too. I guess there's sometimes.
We do, yeah. It's usually only in the cold months that we have
Okay.
the soup, but people really go for it and
Yeah.
they like to sit down and have a bowl of soup and
I've
a cup
done
of
that
coffee.
many
Great
time
idea.
here.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think makes Northern Lights a little bit different than maybe some of the other coffee shops in the area?
Well, one thing that definitely distinguishes this place, first and foremost, is that it was the first after
Yeah.
not having a coffee shop of note in a long time, and it sort of got the ball rolling
Right.
and opened up
I think
the
so, too.
market for other people.
Yeah.
Another thing that really I think distinguishes it is the attention to the drink making process. You know, I mean the actual espresso itself. There was a lot of research, a lot of work that went into actually getting the type of espresso that we wanted here. Not to mention the training that goes into the actual baristas who make the drinks. The drinks we make here are on par with some of the best coffee shops in the world. They just it takes a long time to learn actually, you know, just what different temperatures, different different levels of coffee, you know, different types of espresso. You know, it really does. After almost 3 years of doing it myself, I still have quite a bit to learn about it.
So in other words, we've come a long way from Mr. Coffee, I guess.
Yeah, a long way from Mr. Coffee and Dunkin' Donuts. But
Yep.
yeah.
One thing I always like when I come here is you have usually a little map with where your coffee comes from and what
Yes.
type it is, because I don't know if people realize that coffee is a worldwide commodity, and I know you kind of know some things about that. Share them.
It sure is. Coffee is one of the largest tradable commodities on the face of the planet. You know, it really, most small countries in South America and Africa depend on coffee for, just the basic functioning of their economy. Today we have a coffee from Brazil. And I just learned something new today about Brazil, that Brazil is larger than the continental United States itself, you know, and has, people don't really know, I think, the painstaking process it actually is to harvest, to grow, and to harvest coffee beans. I mean, the actual pickers, the actual coffee farmers, returning to one tree sometimes 3 or 4 times a year because coffee cherries ripen at different times. You know, it's going up and down mountains with sacks of coffee on the back of mules and things. It's really a grueling process, but it's essential to the economy of small
Reminds you of that
countries.
picture of Juan Valdez with on the donkey.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to say, because I always love coming in and talking to you, Dan, and I think that's another thing about the coffee shop culture is it's also that the people that work there are so important.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what keeps people
Yeah.
coming back.
I agree.
So
I think so,
we're thrilled
too,
to
yeah.
have you, and we're
Yeah, I
thrilled.
think Dan made a good point before though when he talked about how other shops have opened. I mean, because of the success of Northern Lights, that has allowed for other coffee shops that have opened in neighborhoods, which really is a good sign of a healthy city.
Right.
And it always starts off in the downtown, and so that's a great thing. I mean, I'm really pleased that Northern Lights has been so successful to allow for that to happen.
I think so
We
too.
hope
Yeah.
it's here for years to come. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
No
And
problem.
you know I'll be back soon.
I know you will.
I
Yeah.
hope we'll
Yep.
get some
Oh,
new
yeah, we'll be
people
back,
coming
yep.
downtown.
Absolutely, always. From Honesdale, Holly, come on down everywhere. You know,
Exactly.
'cause,
Right.
Yeah.
whoever in our viewing area of Channel 61, when they see the message, I think they're going to see a whole different feel for what's happening in our little coffee scene.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's just going to be more and more exciting things happening.
Yeah, and it's a
so.
positive. I mean, we talked about it before in a couple of places that we were. It's a community. It's a neighborhood. It's a feel for meeting people that you haven't seen in a while, and it's a nice, relaxing place to go. I do a lot of business in coffee shops because most of the coffee shops have wireless networks now, and and that's another positive sign too, that people can come out and get away from the desk, push themselves away, but still get some things done and meet people,
Right.
clients or customers or whatever they want to do out in the real world.
That's right. It is an escape,
Yeah.
which is the appeal of a lot of coffee shops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Well,
Are we just about
It's the end.
finishing
Yeah,
up?
I think I'm
Okay.
almost finished. So
11
I'm
cups
gonna
of
have
coffee later.
I'm gonna have to
we're
go run
wrapping it
around
up?
the block.
Okay. Well, until next time, this is Wayne Evans.
And I'm Maureen McGuigan,
We're Scrantonians.
and that's a good thing.